Ah, reading withdrew you are. Do or do not, there is no try. Yes. Okay. We are on the last two chapters. So we're on chapter 33, after the challenge. Okay. When Yano had Berwick and Cineas taken up by Felbart warriors and escorted into the den, Perloo was not all sure what to do. He was so tired he could hardly stand. Perloo, Yano urged, you really must speak to your troops. Do I have to? Perloo, you're truly Granter now. I suppose, Perloo murmured. He looked toward the Monomer army and fussed with his drooping whiskers. Rubbing his paws nervously, he hopped forward. The Monomer troops stared at him with a mix of amazement and curiosity. My friends, Perloo began, as you have seen, both Berwick and Cineas have been defeated and captured. You need not worry. The Felbarts will treat them well. As I told you, I never murdered Jolene. Indeed, it was she who asked me to become next Granter. That means, I suppose, I'm your new Granter now. The first thing I wish to do is proclaim this war to be over. This announcement was met by cheers. The second thing, Perloo went on, is to restore all freedoms to the tribe. Another cheer. Finally, I think you should go back to your homes as fast as you can. Let everybody know that what has happened here. Now ski quickly. It's downhill all the way. Your families and friends are waiting for you. This too was met with a cheer. As soon as Perloo saw the Monomer army disperse, he returned to the Felbart den. The Felbarts who greeted him now did so with great respect. Though he thought he detected some amusement with them as well, he chose to ignore it. What did it matter now? He went first to Packmaster Wynyato. Thank you for trusting me, Perloo said to him. Perloo, Wynyato returned, you have kept your word. We Felbarts wish to live in peace with you Monomers. May that be the last of the Felbart-Monomer wars. With you as Granter, I think it may be possible we will work together on that. Perloo said he hoped they would. Now, Wynyato asked, what do you want done with Berwick and Cineas? I suppose I need to deal with them. Berwick and Cineas had been placed in the same crowded cell in which Perloo was imprisoned. Perloo went in alone, shutting the door behind him. Cineas was squatting on the ground, hunched up, paws clasped around his knees. Berwick also squatting as far away from his partner as the room allowed, alternatively stuffing his mouth with Prebe and scratching himself. At first, neither paid any attention to Perloo. Only after he stood for a while in silence did Cineas turn toward him and sneer. I should have killed you when I had the chance. Oh well, Perloo offered. I'm glad you didn't. I'm the one who should have been Granter, Cineas shouted. It takes cunning as well as intelligence to be Granter. Neither of you have any while I have both. That roused Berwick. You're nothing, he shouted. Defeated by a pup throwing a snowball, he snorted. At least I fought, Cineas countered. You just gave up. Cheat! Liar! Berwick threw back. Then Perloo said, And what shall be done with you? He asked Cineas. Do what you want, Cineas sulked. And you? Perloo said to Berwick. The big fellow looked around and scratched himself. I'm the cub of the Granter. I should be treated with respect. I suppose I could leave you with the Felbarts, Perloo offered. Let them decide. No, Cineas shouted. Not that, Berwick begged. Or, Perloo offered, if you promise to have nothing more to do with each other or try to claim power and live in peace, you can return home. Don't worry about that, Cineas snarled. I don't wish to ever see Berwick again. What good is that stump brain to me? As for returning home, I'd rather wander than live under your Grantership. Do as you wish, Perloo said. And you? He asked Berwick. Oh, I'll find some abandoned burrow, Berwick whined. I'll live simply and quietly. Keep bees. Collect honey. Cineas snorted. As far as I'm concerned, Perloo said, you can do what you want. When both Berwick and Cineas mumbled their agreement, Perloo returned to Wynyato. And now, asked the packmaster. I'd best go home. To be grantor, Blue? I'll have to decide. Whoop. And since that was a quick chapter, I'm just going to continue reading and finish this book. Perloo the Bold, everybody. Chapter 34. When Perloo took his leave of Felbart territory, the day was brilliant, clear, and crisp. The snow underfoot was fast as he skied down the mountain. The wind in his face made him feel as if he were glowing. His legs and thighs moving with the terrain gave him a feeling of gracefulness, a thing Perloo did not experience very often. What should I do? He kept asking himself. Should I be grantor, or should I not? He recalled Magwat's saying, a life without challenge is a life not lived. Just as quickly he recalled another. Of all challenges, the greatest is to be yourself. Perloo brought himself to a sharp stop and looked out through the trees toward the mountains. The whole world seemed to be glowing with life. What do I want to do? He wondered out loud. He thought of his burrow rooms. He thought of his books. He thought of the great hall in the central tribe burrow, and then the top. He thought of Jolene. He thought, too, of Lucabara. What do I want to do? He asked himself again. Then he recalled what Jolene had named him, Perloo the Unwilling. He even said it to himself aloud a few times. Perloo the Unwilling, Perloo the Unwilling, Perloo the Unwilling. By the time he had said it the third time, he knew exactly what he would do. It was past middle when Perloo arrived at the main doors of the Central Tribe Burrow. He went through the open doors, past the entryway, and into the great hall itself. The hall, crowded with many eating at the tables, was not unlike the time when he and Lucabara first came together. Hearth fires were blazing, candles were bright, sounds of munching and gnawing filled the air. Perloo chose not to announce himself. Instead, he began to slowly hop through the hall. Suddenly, he halted. There on the wall, he saw Jolene's proclamation posted. It was whole and complete. Lucabara, he knew, must have done it. The tribe knew the truth. Sure enough, as he hopped along, flop, 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 the great hall became very quiet. One after another, monomers rose from their places, pulled their ears, and watched him go by. Perloo nodded back as amiably as he could. As he approached the Satop, he saw Lucabara and stopped. She grinned at him. Lucabara, he began to say. Shh, she interrupted. We can talk later, but first. She drew herself up, tried to look very serious, made something of a bow, and even pulled her left ear. Grantor Perloo, she intoned, welcome home. News of your great victory has already been shared. Better yet, news of your first orders have come. History shall know you as Perloo the Bold. So saying, Lucabara pulled her ears again in a show of respect, but she could not keep from smiling broadly. There was a shout of approval and much pulling of ears. Perloo hardly knew what to say. He hopped closer to Lucabara. I don't think I can. Lucabara reached out and turned him around. Go to the Satop, she whispered. Speak to the tribe. Perloo, his nose turning red, hopped toward the Satop. He glanced at the image of Magwat, then turned and held up a paw. A hush came upon the hall. For a moment he stood nervously, worrying his paws and fussing with his scruffy whiskers. My friends, he began, you have honored me with your ears. I gather you know, thanks to Lucabara, that Jolene proclaimed me grantor. She never asked me for my opinion. It was a complete surprise. That said, Perloo took a deep breath, fussed with his whiskers, and said, But I have decided not to become grantor. There were cries of, No, no, you must be. Perloo rubbed his paws nervously. No, I'm just not suited to it. As you may know, it's the right of all grantors by law and tradition to abdicate to choose their successor. As for who should succeed me, I don't have much doubt it should be all of you. Let there be no more grantors. Whatever happens to the Monomer tribe will have to decide by everyone. The hall erupted with joy. Never had there been so much cheering. Even Lucabara, as surprised as any, hopped over to Perloo. Oh, Perloo, she said, you really are what you are. And she gave him a great hug. His nose turned to deepest shade of red ever. It was not until Moonglow that Perloo was able to make his way back to his own burrow. He let himself in by the front door, then stumbled about the dark searching for his flints. After some fumbling, he made a spark and lit his candle. He looked about. The burrow was just as he had left it. Even the book, the way of Monomer Heroes lay on his moss bed exactly as he left it. Not even bothering to light a fire, Perloo sighed and climbed into his bed, adjusted the pillow, found his place in the book, and started to read. Then lo, mighty Muldark the Murky rose up and smote the fearful Thelbart a murderous thrust as loud as thunder and as swift as lightning. Blood billowed like a tumbling brook. "O mighty Mortimer," cried the dying Thelbart, "thou hast slain me in fair and most chilling challenge. But I have besworn to struggle on forever, lest I—" Perloo's baggy eyes began to close. That's not the way it is, he murmured. Besides, I'm very sleepy. The book slipped from his paws, and in moments he was fast asleep, dreaming his own dreams. Nice. And that's it. That's it, everybody. Perloo the Bold. There's also in here, which I think is cool. I just realized that it has the sayings of Magwat the magpie. So all the magpie quotes are in here. So might as well just go over it and read it because I think they're good, and I think they're quotes that are we should live by them too, also as well, and stuff. Okay, if you learn to know your enemy before you hate him, you may learn not to have an enemy. Very true. Too often a Mortimer will take one today over 3 yesterdays and 2 tomorrows. That one I'm kind of confused on. But to see the world with the eyes of others is to stand atop a new mountain. Knowing the length of a Mortimer's ear won't tell you if he can listen. Yes. Better to live with 10 Mortimers in uneasy peace than one in a war. When you take one backward hop, it requires 2 hops to go forward. Yep. You are never more alone than when you are followed by many. That's interesting. Like celebrities and stuff. Fear not the weak, only they who try to hide their weaknesses. Nothing in the world is so small that the sun cannot warm it. That one's a really good one. I like that one. Truth is often painful to speak, but soothing to live. Of all things, the hardest to keep is a promise. Lies fly, then fall. Truth hops, but keeps going. Of all challenges, the greatest is to be yourself. They who pine for the past fear the future. A life without challenge is a life not lived. That's a really good one. I feel like a lot of people don't challenge themselves and they just kind of coast. That's not really living. Life is given, the rest one gives him oneself. Wait, what? Life is given, the rest one gives oneself. Ignorance is the cruelest weather. Only the dead have no choices. That's pretty true, yeah. The future begins in the past. And that's the last one. And then there's a little thing about ABI here. About the author. ABI is the author of over 30 books for young people. Among his many awards are the Newbery Medal, the Christopher Medal, 2 Newbery Honor Book citations, and the Boston Globe Horn Book Award. His books include Midnight Magic, Poppy, Crispin, The Cross of Lead, Nothing But the Truth, and City of Light, City of Dark, a comic book novel illustrated by Brian Flocka. Formerly a librarian, AVI is now a full-time writer living in Denver, Colorado. Woo! Denver! Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So there you have it. Perloo the Bold. This is a good book. I feel all warm and tingly inside. Oh. Yeah. What an awesome book. I'm so glad that I decided to continue to read as an adult. As a kid, I hated reading. Besides reading out loud in school, I would always be goofy and make it fun, so I wouldn't be as nervous reading out loud in front of everyone. So I would do voices, and I would, be goofy, and people would laugh, and it made me feel good. So that's why I decided to start doing this and reading out loud and having fun, and stuff. So I hope it was somewhat entertaining for you. And I hope you enjoyed the story. And I hope I wasn't too goofy. I probably could be goofier for sure. But yeah, Perloo the Bold, man. Such a great story. Through and through, I feel like there's lots of wisdom in this book. In doing the right thing, challenging yourself, stepping up and doing what you must for the greater good, I think is probably one of the main things about this. But then I also like that he didn't force himself to be Granter. He kind of created a boundary for himself and said, no, I don't really want to do this. And he didn't have to. So it was cool at the end that he was like, nope, basically we're going to be a democracy now and we're going to vote on it instead of having a king or main leader dictating what we do. So yeah, what an awesome book, man. It's super cheap. I think it's like $8 or something online. I just bought it off Amazon. And if you have kids, this is a great one. It's not too long. Me reading each chapter and recording it definitely took a lot longer than if you were just to sit and read through it naturally. So Perloo, Perloo. All right. So that concludes the book. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing Reading with Drew. It's very time consuming and it's very hard to be constantly entertaining. But, we'll see. I'm going to leave it open. And even what do you guys think? Should I read another book and continue to do Reading with Drew episodes? Let me know in the comments and subscribe or whatever everyone says, which I don't really care if you do it or not. So, all right. Thanks for watching if you have been watching, and I hope that you do well in life. See ya. Have a good day. Peace.